Guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. New settings, new places, new people, as always. Today I actually have the great opportunity to interview one of my friends that recommended me from another friend that was also on the podcast. And today we're going to get to know a little bit of Quan, what he's about, and where we're going. So just tune in. Make sure you guys hit that like button, comment what type of content you're looking for, and let's just get right to it. Quan, how are you, man?
I'm good. I appreciate you having me. I appreciate you coming in and conversing with me. But everything is fine. Everything is going good today.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Sir. And I mean, your place is set up nice.
I appreciate that. You know, gotta try to keep it clean in here. You feel me? It's been smooth. I've been in here for a little minute. I've been enjoying it.
Where'd you get that aesthetic inspiration from?
Honestly, growing up, I've always been creative.
Okay.
I've always been very outgoing with my style, like whether it's clothing, art, or even like decor or whatever. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, I just like growing up, I kind of changed. I kind of shifted my whole the way I like to express myself. I shifted from very outgoing to more simple, just straight to the point, very basic, straight colors. Nothing too crazy.
So what type of brands did you used to wear like when you were younger? Like, so did you follow like Jordans? Did you still follow like that type of line?
I mean, of course, like, you know, everybody wanted the Jordans at school. You know, you see everybody at school rocking the coolest joints.
Yeah.
So I asked my mom for them. But sometimes she wasn't about to pay $300 for no shoes. Especially I'm in like third grade, like just trying to keep up with everybody. So that kind of forced me to be creative. So I would rock with just whatever she could provide for me. You feel me?
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with wearing Vans. I didn't have a problem with wearing Converse, Chuck Taylors. So it's
Airwalks.
Exactly.
Did you ever wear the Airwalk?
Exactly. See, I'm glad we can relate. But yeah. So I've always been put in a position where I had to like work with what I had. You feel me?
Yeah. I feel like before I used to have a lot of lack of like the economic position to like actually, my parents actually like put me on shoes, and I really also didn't like have that outlet like of creativity. But the only place I really found it ever was like we would go to Goodwill, so like
for sure.
So you'd have to piece something from there
for sure
in order to like actually show out at school.
It's kind of funny because back then, like Goodwill and thrifting wasn't like a trend. It wasn't like the cool thing to do. People were doing that because they had to. Now it's like people are seeing it on social media and everything, and now it's cool. And I like to see that because my grandma would drag me to a thrift store, and I'd be like, "Yo, grandma, why are you wearing clothes like these are old people?" Da, da, da. And so it's just, I don't know, it's kind of cool that something that was kind of looked down upon at one point is coming back into play. And I feel like, honestly, I laugh because I used to say people back then, they laughed at it.
Yeah.
But now we're getting older. We have to pay our own bills. We got to pay for it ourselves. Now it's like,
yeah.
Thrifting is cool now. So, but
I think we start understanding our parents' perspective a lot better. As a kid, you don't understand why they can't buy you $300 Jordan shoes. And before, dude, I don't know if you noticed it, but I used to be surprised when there was some kids, same grade, same everything, same economic position, and their parents would still like make it happen for them. For sure. Like on shoes, but I'm like, what are they sacrificing? Like,
for sure. Like
longevity wise, I was like, are their parents making the best decisions as well? Like, cause you know, like now we're grown and now we're gonna we have to think about those, like what financial position do I want to be type.
For sure. And I guess, like back to what you just said, what's the like best decision the best decision that they made? Honestly, what does the best decision look like to you? Like, does the best decision look like, your kid's being happy no matter what? Does it look like I'm gonna get them these shoes and I'm gonna struggle on the low to pay these bills? Or I'm gonna say no to those shoes, but the light's gonna be on. You feel me? So it's like, what is really the best decision? I feel like that's where a lot of parents, especially back then, even right now probably, a lot of parents are at those crossroads. What is the best thing to do? Do I keep them happy with the things that they don't know about, or do I just put the shoes in front of their face and let them smile about that while I'm struggling on the back end? But
Because even trying to explain that to a kid, like,
Oh, no.
I feel like I knew that I was like an angry kid. Like, if I didn't get the things that I wanted, dude, I'd lash out in frustration.
Just like everybody else, and again, like, how does a parent respond to that? Like,
Yeah.
what do you do? Like, what do you do when you're a kid? Like just like you, I relate. I got mad. I'm like, Mom, everybody else got these shoes. Why can't I? You asked me to do all this stuff. I'm bringing home straight A's. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
But nah, it is what it is. You know, we got to do what we got to do.
But whenever you say that you were wearing like a lot of things to now it turned simple, like what was that shift like? Like, do you shift to more simpler colors, simpler tones? Like, do you start learning definitions or like what? Because even the aesthetic of this room, it's very pleasing and simple. But where does that come from, type?
I appreciate that. Pleasing and simple is the perfect definition. That's exactly what I was going for. But I didn't like really go out of my way to make this shift. I didn't go out of my way to like learn what looks good, what's aesthetically pleasing. It was more of just like like growing up. Like I said, I'm wearing like bright colors. I'm wearing like just things that I've probably made. I learned how to sew, so I would take fabrics.
Oh, you learned how to sew too?
Yeah, I would just make jackets out of like whatever, and I would love to wear just bright things I want to show off what I'm wearing type thing. And I think just growing up and getting negative responses to wearing those bright things, sometimes I think that would get to me, and it wore away at me at some points. And then it kind of shifted to where I'm gonna be more plain. I'm gonna just be straight to the point. I'm gonna wear more neutrals. I'm gonna wear blacks, whites, da da da. And I still want to make that look good though. I want to be more subtle with it. I don't want to be as bold with it, but I want to make it look good. And that it did stem from a fear, but then it turned into, it kind of fits my personality now. Like it's like I'm a very calm, I'm a very reserved dude. And of course, since I'm an artist, just like anybody else, once you peel layers back, you understand that there's more to a person. And I feel like that shows with the way I dress or with the way that I have my crib. It's actually kind of cool. Like I don't invite a lot of people in here, but it's cool that you notice the aesthetic. And it's dope. I never really thought about how I have everything set up in here is kind of like it's a expression of me or my personality.
I feel like this room evokes a feeling, which is like the most important concept. I feel like that we try to, in the way that we try to understand each other, is like giving off a feeling. It's kind of like through clothes too. You're like giving off a certain feeling, like cool, calm, collected. Oh, I can approach this type of person. Or even in this type of room, it like invites a freedom to like talk.
See, I completely agree. And with this apartment, with this building, especially with guys, like you get a new crib or a new space, and it's like, how am I gonna furnish this? And
even as a guy, like some guys don't think about that too.
I didn't even think about that.
You get what I mean?
I feel like since we are creatives, I feel like we already have that mind to where it's like, nah, it's gonna be what I want it to be. We're a little bit more articulate. We're a little bit more like, we'll have it looking exactly how we want it to. And when I came in here, I was like, all right, it's very boxy. It's very, I like how it looks in here, but you said the word inviting, or I wanted a space to feel more of a, like, just comfort. That's what I was trying to give, because anybody who comes into my crib, that's how I want them to feel.
Yeah.
Everybody's not coming in here. I'm not trying to like have everything look cool. I want it to be very comfortable for people.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about not just colors but textures. Like, you feel me? I'm looking at. I like wood. I like natural resources when it comes to decor. I like woods, concretes, plants. So that all of that kind of goes into it. But some people don't, like you said, some people don't think that far into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. That's just what I like. That's how I like to roll.
And I know that when like I get a crib, I'm gonna want to make it as simple as I can, because like you're gonna, dude, like I know that I misplace my keys everywhere.
Oh, for sure.
So an open space would definitely
Bro.
help. Like, oh, there's my keys.
bro, I'm telling you, like I'm sure you've heard the expression, a cluttered desk. It means you have a cluttered mind, and like you said, everything in here, I try to keep it very, very open, very free space. I don't have a lot on the walls, like you said, because I just like to be very precise. That goes there, that goes there. I even have a tray for all my things. Like this is where it's gonna be when I go to look for it. I don't just want to throw stuff out. But if I do happen to put something down, like you said, it's right there. I'll be able to find it. And I guess that just comes from me being very wild and very uncaring. And you learn lessons when you're living life a little bit less specific to what you want to do.
You created the space and you created it artfully. Like, how is it kind of like whenever you're here alone? Mm-hmm. Like, how is it living alone? And what type of thoughts like run through your mind? Because you're not necessarily talking to anyone. Like I can only imagine myself like living like alone, like in my own apartment. But like as a creative, like what type of thoughts do you, like run through your mind? Like what do you think about the most?
No, for sure. That's actually.
Or you try not to spend time alone in here because you're gonna be alone.
No, I love. My dad, I actually just had my dad over. He asked me a similar question. He was like, "Why don't you have any like art on the walls? Why don't you have your stuff on the walls?" Because I draw and I paint too.
Okay.
And honestly, my home. This is my safe space. This is my safe haven. And art, creative expression is my job. I'm a tattoo artist. That's my job. And when I come home, I want to get away from my work. You feel me? So I come here. I see like the plainness of it, the plants, the natural, the woods. I have grass on the balcony. I want it to feel as natural as, I want it to feel as away from art as possible. And I know it's kind of weird coming from an artist, but
because I would think that you'd want more and more and more and more.
And that's what a lot of people say. That's what my dad said. But if that's what you do for your job, you need to get away from that. And in my opinion, that's my opinion. A lot of artists have their stuff all over the place, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And I respect it. But for me, I need to separate artistic expression from myself. My art doesn't define who I am. My job doesn't define who I am. I want to come home and feel like I'm home. I don't want to leave the tattoo shop, come here, and there's still art all around me. I'd feel suffocated by my occupation. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like when I come here, you said, what do I think about? Honestly, the plainness of it, the very, like the basicness of it, the calmness of it gives me freedom to think about whatever I want to, whether it is work, whether it's religion, whether it's just, what I have to do that day. As men, we have a lot to handle. We got to get it done. And this is just a peaceful environment for me to plan things out, get things done, work things out. And you mentioned being alone a lot. I'm not really. Lately, these past couple months, I haven't really been alone. Cuffing season, you feel me? So, yeah. So my shorty, she been with me too. But even with her, this space, when in any relationship, you need still time to yourself. That relationship still doesn't define who you are. So even outside of that, when I come here, I want to be away from everything. Your home. This is an apartment, but it's my home right now. Your home should be your safe haven from everything, your force field. So that's what it is.
I had never thought about it that way. I thought it like as an artist, like as a creator, you'd want more of it. Like
sure.
And that's what you want to think about. But
for sure.
Like even creating the space around like plainness to where like you can have an open mind, I had never even.
Exactly. It's kind of like a blank canvas. You feel me? Like you wouldn't want somebody to come and tell you to sketch something out and the paper is like full of art already. This is just my blank canvas for my mind. You understand? But like, how is your setup?
What?
If you don't mind me asking, your residency.
I would say it's very like farm looking.
Farm looking.
Like farmhouse looking, brick, like okay. Yellow brick, some paver.
Gotcha.
Just because I do like that nature type thing. But I also like spilling into some rooms, like my podcast room.
Yeah.
It's like just like a culmination of all my ideas. Like I'm into anime. Like you said, you don't want to be known just for one thing, because that's not necessarily what you're gonna be all the time.
For sure.
I'm not sure if you read books all the time, but I like surrounding myself with like architecture, with corporate network, art, because everybody's definition of what has grace is very different based off their own perspectives.
Wow.
So whenever you start letting the other person become important to you and relevant on what the ideas that they're spilling on you, I feel like you kind of like step into their mind and have that ability to gain something for yourself at the end of the day.
Okay.
So like in this podcast too, it's kind of like I with you inviting me into your space, I gain some type of access to your energy.
For sure.
If you like mine, then we go back and forth. But also stepping into your mind, how do you look at art? Why'd you become a tattoo artist? Because it was based off your experiences.
For sure.
And it's like, to me, it's just like great that you invited me into this space so that I can also use that to adapt it to like my evolution.
For sure. No, I love it. I like the fact that we can relate with the natural decor, like just that feeling of naturalness. But yeah, man, when it comes to like inviting you in and you taking this and even asking me about this, and it's making me even look at myself a little bit more like wow, I didn't even realize that's what that stemmed from. But so I do appreciate this conversation just as much as you do.
No, thank you.
But yeah.
And you said you grew up in Goldsboro, so like, what got you out of there? Or because your parents moved around, or what was it?
Goldsboro.
Why do you say that?
Nah, cause Goldsboro, it's like, what the hell is Goldsboro? Nah, I love Goldsboro. It's that's the home. What got me out of there? I actually made the conscious decision to move in with my family out there, and specifically my grandma. I love that woman. I lived with her for a couple years.
Why'd you choose your grandma?
Cause I love my grandma. She was just, every kid loves their grandma. That's just what I assume.
Yeah.
But my grandma, she was nice. I was growing up. I was going through things. I'm like, I'm being a rebel. I'm like, I don't want to do this school thing. So I was.
Question: Was it easier to talk to your grandma than talk to your parents growing up?
Talk to my grandma.
Or did you not have those conversations? Because certain conversations you don't want to bring up to your parents.
No, for sure.
But then you have this confidant that might be your grandma.
No, my grandma was not that. No, I didn't have any conversations that it wasn't anything like deep that I would talk to my grandma about that I wouldn't talk to my parents about. It was more of like my mom is not letting me do what I want to do right now. My grandma is nice. She lets me do what I want to do when I go over there and visit. So I'm going to live with her. And that was kind of short-lived, because once I got there, she was like, hold on. This isn't just like, I'm not about to be your visit grandma. Like, nah, you still have rules here. So but it was cool. My grandma, she turned me into a lot of how she raised me is, it kind of resulted into who I am today. But yeah, I stayed in Goldsboro with her through the first bit of high school, the end of middle school. A lot of that growing up influence period of our lives, you feel me? But it was cool. I left. I also made the decision to move back out here with my mom in Gastonia specifically, to finish out high school here, just for I just couldn't stay in the country. I couldn't stay in that area. I just wanted to be closer to the city. I love Charlotte. I do love the country. I'm still a country boy, but you feel me? I felt like opportunities would be more abundant out here.
What type of opportunities were you looking for then?
At that time, specifically, I was looking more sports related. I played football in high school, so okay. I was like, Goldsboro, I'll probably get more notice in Charlotte, closer to Charlotte out here.
You were never scared of the injuries or anything like that? Not, like you never had any major injury or anything like that?
I mean, I broke my wrist one time. My knees was messed up. Ankles was messed up. But that's everybody, especially football. Like, you gonna get hurt. You feel me? Yeah. It wasn't nothing that I was scared of. It was more like, and I played defense. So I'm trying to hurt people. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't worried about the pain. But It was more like if I get out here to Charlotte, whatever my talent is, it'll be seen more. It'll be seen by more people. It's more money out here. I can probably get a better job out here. I've also seen people get stuck in Goldsboro. I've seen people get stuck in my hometown. Just like anybody else has seen people get stuck right where they were born. And I couldn't do that.
At a young age, you felt like you were like, I'm not gonna be stuck on this idea.
Yeah, I knew for a fact, especially after living with my grandma for those few years, growing up, seeing what people actually did for a living in those areas.
Did for a living?
It was just, there were a lot of people worked at big spaces such as
warehouse or something like that.
Yeah, like a warehouse or like a plant, what is it called, a factory or something. And it's like I didn't want to be stuck. I didn't want to feel like I was kind of confined to just those options. You feel me? So, and I've lived out here in Gastonia, Charlotte area before I moved to Goldsboro. So I was like, no, would I rather graduate high school here and try to make my way into the world or out there? And I chose out here. And I'm glad I did. I really am glad I did. I love everybody and all the experiences I had in Goldsboro while I was there. And I still love Goldsboro. It's my home. It's part of me. But I also love the fact that I came back out here and did what I did.
Did you ever think that you were gonna pursue football like for really long term, like, or did you set yourself up? Like, did you have that consistently? If you're being honest, did you have that consistency?
Yeah.
To put yourself there?
I mean, I was kind of like, since a young age, I was thrown into it. Like, football was part of my life before I was walking. You feel me? So it's kind of like, that's all my mind knew at the time. Like, I'm growing up, everybody knows me as, oh, he played football, he go to church with his mama, just a good boy, golden child, you feel me? Golden child, just playing football, doing whatever. But it's like that was what my mind was set on before I even could make that decision. You understand? Like, I'm not saying it was like a fault of anybody else. I'm just saying, like, that's just what it was. Like, football was given to me. And from there, I just grew up, and that's all I knew. Like, I only go to school and good grades so I can stay on the Pee Wee team. I only go to middle school and good grades so I can be eligible for football. I'm going to school in high school. Let me make sure I'm acting right. Let me make sure I'm turning this paper in because I have a game on Friday. You feel me? After football season, it's like, dang, why am I coming to school? Like, this shit sucks.
And it's crazy that we all think very differently growing up as a kid, because like just how those things were like important to you. For me, growing up as an immigrant, it's like I didn't have papers, so I didn't even know what the fuck I wanted to do. I was like,
you had bigger shit to worry about.
I was like, no, and I don't think your idea of what you thought was like your more important thing is more important than mine. It was just saying, like, it's crazy how we just have different experiences. Like, whenever you're younger and you didn't make the football team, like, that is like the most devastating like situation that you could be thrown into. Let's just per se.
For sure.
As much as like today, like different situations become relevant, it's all relevant depending on what age and how you see it.
Exactly.
Like how you see your problem.
Like you said, it's your experiences. I can say football was the biggest thing for me because I was raised into a big, nice family. My mom took care of me. My dad was there too. They were separated, but they were both present. I didn't have problems with like I wouldn't get everything I wanted, like the shoes we talked about, but I would get stuff. I would get my presents on Christmas. I had food on the table. Lights was on all the time. My parents took care of me. I had a good childhood. So I'm blessed enough to say that football was the main thing on my mind. And I know, like you said, you said your transition from Mexico to here, that was like your big thing. You being an immigrant coming to these schools, you probably felt more like an outcast or something. You know that. So kids have different like whatever that main thing in their mind is, or whatever what drives them. It's different because of what their experiences are. I'm just blessed to be able to say that football was that for me. And like 100% appreciation to my family and of course God. But that's just what that is. It's crazy that you say that, like you acknowledge the difference in experiences and how that leads to our lives now. But I've become so used to it because I hear, like in the chair, I hear people just talking about what they come from and why they are the way they are now. As a tattoo artist, people look at us as, they just express whatever. They talk about the deepest of their secrets, or they talk about where they come from. Like, it's kind of like therapy. You feel me?
For when you have someone on a chair, is that you're saying the client has that towards you, or you have that towards the client?
The client has that towards me, but while we're talking, of course, I have a sense of vulnerability too, to be able to be like, I relate.
Okay.
I'm not just a wall that they're talking to, and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, that's good. Like, no, I'm actually talking to my clients. That's actually one of my favorite parts about the job. I was actually going to school at UNC Charlotte to become a therapist. I did social work and psychology.
Therapist in what area? Childhood?
Honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know if I wanted to do children, or I didn't know if I wanted to do adults, specifically going through like rehab. I didn't know if I wanted to do other avenues of social work. I didn't know. That was just a very broad dream of mine.
I'm interested though. Why therapy? Like, do you consider yourself an extrovert or an introvert?
Honestly, like I hear everybody wants to put titles on everything.
Okay.
But for me, honestly, in certain situations, I want to be talked to. I want to be the outgoing one. I'm not scared of interaction. I'm not scared of meeting anybody. I'm not scared of going up to a girl or talking to her. But in certain situations, I don't want nobody to talk to me. I want to go in here. I want to do my grocery shopping. I'm at this party. I got my shades on. I'm chilling. Like, I wouldn't consider myself an extrovert nor introvert, because it's like, if I call myself an extrovert in situations when I don't want to talk to anybody, what is that? Like, I feel like it sets yourself up for a lot of contradiction. You feel me? Like,
and you might be right. You constrain yourself to like one idea of what you could be.
Exactly. So, sometimes I like to be outgoing. I'm not scared of that. I love being outgoing. I love talking to people. I love getting to know people.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, I'm just shut off. Like, I don't, like, look, I had a long day. Like, I don't want to, like, I'm chilling. You feel me?
So did you kind of take some of the lessons you learned in therapy? Like, did you kind of see it relevant to like now how you're tattooing?
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes, of course. I've always been a very observant person. I've always been somebody that people can talk to and like you just relate to, or at least I've made people feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And then for the very short time that I was in social work classes, specifically sociology, stuff like that, psychology, mm-hmm. I did pick up some things that I still use now, like whether it's techniques to make people feel comfortable, or certain ways to talk to people, certain questions to ask, or even how to dissect people's answers and understand this is how they feel. It's always been very easy to me, or for me, to take what somebody says and step into their shoes when it comes to perspective or point of view.
Is that because you're big on empathy?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about that. Like, are you telling me that I'm big on empathy?
No. I'm asking you if you take it from a feeling perspective, or you take it just from like a simple cookie cutter perspective.
Very logical. It's just logic. Okay. Like you said earlier, who we are today. There's a reason. Everything that we are today stems from something that happened to us, or what we've seen, what we've been exposed to. So.
But that's because you're emotionally mature. A lot of people won't dissect that.
Well, see, I can't work. I don't know about a lot of other people. That's just emotionally mature. I like that. I like that word. I like that acknowledgement. I like that. But yeah, I just over time I've realized that just as much as I think how I feel is is what life feels like, or just as much as I think. How do I say this? I know that anybody else's perspective is just as valid to them as mine is to me. So I step out of my own body. When I hear people talk, I step out of my own body, out of my own experiences, and get directly into theirs. Oh, they think like this because they did this. They think like this because their parents treated them like this. Oh, their parents treated them like this because, oh, their grandparents aren't alive. They split up. So it's like I'm just dissecting everything, seeing why people are the way they are, why people treat people the way they do. And I've always been very inquisitive. I've always been a very curious person. So I ask a lot of questions. And that does help with when it comes to tattoos. It's very easy for me to converse with people, especially my clients that they like to come in. You know, people get a tattoo because they want to talk about something or they're going through something. So people come in, they open up, and it's very easy for me to step out of my own body while I'm just doing art and just get into their shoes and like, wow, their experience has led them to what they are or who they are right now in life. And I feel like that's just very beautiful. A lot of people, if more people took time out of their day to realize that their perspective wasn't the only correct perspective, life would be so much smoother for everybody.
But then that's also like us learning how to like dissect people's answers. Like
For sure.
What specific techniques did you learn on how to dissect people's responses? Was it based off the question that you asked first? Was that the first step and then you go into the response, or like what is it?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not like a professional, so
Yeah, no,
I'm
but
not,
just
I'm
how
not,
you view
not,
it.
No, I appreciate that. I'm not as advanced to plan things out, or like when it comes to a conversation, I'm not as advanced to take my question and assume or predict what they're gonna say and kind of maneuver like that. It's more of just like, oh, they said this earlier 5 minutes ago, they said this other thing, and I can see that relates. That probably comes from this feeling that, I don't know, it's more of just like direct correspondence. Like whatever they say, this is how they feel. Why do they feel like that? That's just all it is. It's not like I'm breaking it down. It's not like I'm really like I'm turned into a robot just analyzing it. It's just, this is just how my mind works. I'm a natural overthinker, in my opinion. Like that's just how my mind works with everything. So when it comes to conversation, that's just how it is. I tend to take people's answers and get into their perspective. Why do they say that? Even if I don't agree, because 9 times out of 10, I'm probably not gonna agree 100% with what somebody else says. But you have to understand that our upbringing wasn't similar. So I can, even if I don't agree, I can still see why they think that way. And I feel like that's honestly one of my favorite attributes about myself, like being able to step out of myself and be like, okay, I don't agree, but if I grew up the same way you did, I couldn't argue with that. You feel me? So
Yeah.
But nah, that's where that comes from. And I'm sure you do the same thing when you talk to people.
What?
Like you break down what they say, or you think, like you're not just hearing their words, but you're kind of stepping into their perspective. Or do you not do that? Do you not go that deep into it?
I definitely take into account their vocabulary choice. I take into consideration, first of all, I like to see people as like just complete strangers, because even the signs that they might give off might be misleading. Like a person might be awkward, right? But that's not his whole personality.
For sure.
Like you have to go layer by layer by layer and still peel them back. But that only comes whenever you offer them a certain level of comfortability. Because a lot of people come on the podcast, and I understand that they're nervous because, first of all, there's never been a camera,
of course,
in front of their face. But I feel like they've also never been introduced to the type of conversation that I can offer. Because again, going back to energy, I feel like you and me right now are talking in a very like open way.
For sure.
If the host is not as inviting as he could be and just asking you interrogative questions, then you're going to give off a certain feeling. So I really think sometimes the person's response, it's based off what I am able to give. Like if I make them feel important, which it is the case, because like I'm like, this person took their time out of their day to come and talk to me and give you the full attention, which is what I'm trying to do, and just peel back layers, then that person will see it for what it is. Because people can also tell genuineness.
For sure.
Like you can tell whenever someone's lying to you. Like,
for sure.
So I try to just feed off like what I'm hearing. Sometimes even like their emotional sides might not be clear on what they're trying to say. So I just like peel back in a response. Let me ask another question. But at the end of the day, it's like, how much can I really know them after an hour? Like, I knew like this much, 10% out of 100%, like very little, right? Like, because everybody has layers, just the same way that you tattoo, like you have art in your way, like you have a lot of other things that you think about. Like when you come back home and are alone, you probably think about your faith a lot. You probably think about who knows what,
No,
right?
of course,
Like,
I understand.
so definitely, I think I've definitely learned how to like talk to people, and mostly, I feel like whenever you actually give yourself a chance to want to know somebody, someone can tell that about you.
I agree. Now, your own vulnerability definitely affects the other person's. And I'm telling you that based off experience right now. Just the fact that you're willing to open up about certain situations. It's like, okay, I can actually talk to him. He's ready to break down certain walls. I am too. Like, that's dope. So I do agree.
Whenever people come up to you and actually have their tattoo, is it because they're trying to get something off their mind, or they really want to get a tattoo? Like,
some clients are coming because they actually just want the art on their body. Some clients are coming because they've been through something. Some clients are coming because, it's a different reason for everybody, because they feel pressured to. Everybody else,
they feel pressured to? For real?
some people, like, especially, I get a lot of young people, especially in high school, college, they just doing it because their friend wants them to, or because they feel like they should, or something like that. So, but yes, I have a lot of clients that they'll tell me straight up, like, I get tattoos when I'm going through something. It helps me, it soothes me, I want a tattoo. Sometimes, even to like break it down even more specifically, sometimes people will get a tattoo when they're going through something to remember, or kind of like pay some type of respect to that experience, so they remember it and realize that they got past it, like just in remembrance of that experience. But I don't know what that stems from. I just feel like some people they want to come in, they want to be noticed, they want to get a lot off their chest that they can't tell their family or friends. I've had people come in to, get a tattoo, and they'll tell me that certain things that I've told you in this conversation during this session, I haven't told my mom and my dad, and I feel like I can't tell my friends. They won't understand, or they will look at me different. And for me, people can just open up to me because I'm just their tattoo artist. Like, they just come in and they just feel like, they just feel safe. And that's the same way that I have my crib. I try to have my environment at work. I try to give people the openness, the freedom to talk to me if they want to, or don't. Some people like to chill. Some people just like to listen to the music. Some people want to watch a movie to get off the pain of the tattoo. So I let people kind of dictate, or determine what's going on. How do you want this to be? This is your experience. I'm providing you this service. What do you want from me? And that's what I pick up right when I see them at the door. It's like, all right, boom. I see what their energy is like. All right, something's going on. You thinking? Are they willing to share that? If they are, then I'm willing to listen every single time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the least I can do. They trust me enough to put permanent ink on their body.
Yeah.
They should, I should be open enough to let them just spill out what they want to spill right here in this time right now. Hopefully, they leave this situation, this experience, lighter. They leave it more focused on what they have to do, or they leave it feeling a little happier. They leave it feeling a little spiritually lighter, like I said. So just, that's just what I want to do. I feel like I take my creativity, my tattooing, and then I try to, of course, find a deeper purpose for that. What else can I do to help people? You feel me?
Okay.
Yeah.
And whenever you do you have a certain style that you're choosing right now, or like how do you necessarily get better at tattooing?
For sure.
Do you draw more? Do you?
I've been drawing my whole life. So like drawing is something that I always do. I draw every week. I draw a lot. I have been slowing down with the drawing because I have been tattooing, and like I said, I want to get away from work sometimes. But the style that I was mostly like known for, or why like a lot of clientele, why I had a lot of clientele, was fine line. A lot of tattoo artists out here don't do fine line work, and it's honestly in the industry, is certain tattoo artists will look down on the fine line style, but I love
What
it.
is fine line style?
Very very precise, very thin needle. Like, I'm sure you've seen like a thick tattoo. Like a Sharpie, like a regular Sharpie, and then you have the fine point Sharpies. It's it's skinnier. It allows you. It's kind of like a pin. That's what fine line is. It's just more intricate, more detailed, just tiny. And a lot of artists don't do that because they don't. It takes more time. There's pros and cons to it, but I love it because, like I said, I've been drawing my whole life, and the fine line, this tiny needle, reminds me of a pencil.
Yeah.
So it's more natural to me to draw or make art with the tattoo machine when it's feeling like a pencil. Of course, I've learned other techniques since I've been a tattoo artist, but that's just how it started. So that's what a lot of people came to me for, whether it was script or fine line floral work. A lot of girls like the flowers, the butterflies, all the regular little things like that. But
You said cons. What are the cons then to fine line?
The biggest one, honestly, in my opinion, is the longevity. Fine line tattoos, after a while, like if you do a traditional tattoo with thick lines, bold shading, that'll last longer looking the way it did when it was fresh than a fine line tattoo will. Only because, like I said, it's a skinnier needle. The healing process is a little bit different. Of course, if you're doing the tattoo correctly, the longevity still, it'll be there. But if you do it perfect, if a traditional tattoo artist and a fine line tattoo artist do their job perfectly, the traditional one will last longer, regardless of what the fine line artist does, just because it is more intricate. It's tiny, it's smaller, so the ink will spread out a little bit. Like, it'll spread out a little bit. With traditional, they're bold lines, they're big, it's dark. It'll look the same. But another con of fine line is, like, after a while, as a tattoo artist, you want to do bigger pieces. At least for me, I want to do bigger pieces. I want to do more significant pieces. So with fine line work, when you get known for doing a lot of small, like little script, little detail stuff, it's cool, and I love it, and I appreciate all my clients that want those pieces. I love that. But I also want to get more work out there. I want to get more significant work. I want people to trust me with, or more people to trust me with their whole back or their whole arm, their sleeve, rather than just girls coming for, the word faith, Yeah. And I feel like a lot of artists have that problem when they're just starting. But I'm getting more into, I'm stepping away from fine line, and I'm getting more into the pieces like I was talking about, like more sleeves, more.
I saw you did like a dragon, right? Like,
yeah, that was dope. I'm sure you're referring to the back.
The back piece.
Yeah, I love that. My boy, he came in 2 days in a row, 8-hour sessions. I don't know how he did it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that. but yeah, it was a cool little session for real.
Was that your first like tackling a back piece, or like?
That was my first time trying a back piece that size.
Really?
That size, yeah, for sure. That was it was a significant piece for me in my career at that time. But now, after doing that and other pieces similar in size, similar in detail, my confidence is way higher than it was going into that one. Of course, I was still confident. I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't. But going into that, I knew that, okay, this has to be perfect. I got to do this, da-da-da. Now it's more of like, all right, this is my job. It's just like anything else. It's just a tattoo.
Yeah.
But, it was dope. It was dope. It was cool. I love how it came out. And he was a returning client. So that session, like in general, was a cool session. Just being able to talk to him.
Yeah.
And get that done. But yeah.
8 hours, you're talking the whole time. Is the person in pain?
Oh my God. Yeah, he was in pain. He was in pain about 4 hours in on the first day. He was chilling. He wasn't moving too much. I do applaud him for that. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to do it. But the first day he came in, laid down, started. We're relaxing. He was trying to go to sleep at one point. He was just letting me work. He wasn't moving. We probably took like 3 breaks total.
Yeah.
He had to use the bathroom a couple times, just regular stuff. But yeah, he was chilling. Second day, he came right back the next day. Same thing though. He didn't move too much. He was a little bit more like, you know, shaky. He was a little bit more resistant to the needle. But that's what I expected going into it. The second day tattooing. I know it's not easy for nobody.
But question, like
up?
now you're doing like content and stuff like that. Is that kind of how like you've grown to it, or like how do you plan on growing like on the? Because you're trying to mix like the creative content with your work. Like
For sure.
how do you plan on mixing that?
Like
what's been your experience on that? Because I've seen that you've got a pretty good following now,
sure.
but like how do you plan on growing that? Because we were discussing some ideas on that, but.
No, definitely. Like I said earlier, my social media following, a lot of them followed me when I was posting strictly just art, just my tattoos, just pictures of the tattoos, no videos, nothing like that. And I was growing a good little base just based off of artistic talent. But nowadays, with any industry, in any career, any form of like your work, your side hustle, or whatever, your creation of content, nowadays people are more drawn to what's entertaining, like what's a cool video. So I'm getting more into oh, my fault, I'm getting a call. But I'm getting more into the content creation. And like you said, what's my plan for it? My plan is to do as I'm doing now, get more into the content creating, the video making, what's going to draw people in, but also maintain the fact that I'm posting real art. I have a real talent. I'm not just drawing you in with cool videos and that's it. You're just coming to me because I have this many followers. I want it to be, yes, I drew you in with this whatever creative video you found me on. You found my page and was like, oh, no, this is actually talent. This is a good tattoo artist. When they see my work, I want them to want the tattoo because of my work just as much as they do because of the amount of likes I got on the video. You understand?
Yeah,
So,
because even the recent one shows that. Like, first you show your art, and then you go on and tattoo it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
the art in itself was already, like, you just displayed it a lot better, but it was your art at the end of the day.
Exactly. It's just, honestly, it does suck. It does suck to me, honestly, because as a tattoo artist, you just want to tattoo. You just want to get your art on people. I wish my job as a tattoo artist just strictly consisted of me just tattooing.
Yeah.
And for some people who have that base of clientele who's been doing it 10 plus years, 20 plus years, I applaud them. But now, since I'm a new artist, I'm still growing within my skill set. I'm still growing my talents. So it's like I have to draw people in. I have to get people on my page to see my art. Just posting pictures, it's not going to work anymore. Instagram, whatever algorithms they have, it's not going to work anymore. You have to post these reels. You have to post these. You have to get on the new music, whatever. And honestly, like, it's fun sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. I like creating the content. I like the response I get to it. But I'm still focused on the tattooing. If I can make content creation another source of income, great. But that is only because I want to tattoo. You understand? So that's just
because you're not only a tattoo artist, but you also have to work on the marketing perspective. Because if not, then it's like how do you continue to reel in people to come in?
I posted on my story the other day. I was like, any questions for your artist? And somebody said, any tips for an aspiring tattoo artist? And one of my biggest things, what you just kind of hinted on, was make sure that you want to be a business person just as much as you want to be an artist. Everybody focuses on just the tattooing, but you have to realize you are selling yourself. You have to sell yourself. You have to do the marketing, the advertising. You have to do the scheduling. You have to do the time blocking. You are your own boss, and a lot of people like that title. A lot of people want to be their own boss. It comes with a lot of freedom, but it comes with a lot of work. So So I stress that fact that make sure you want to be an entrepreneur just as much as you want to be an artist if you're looking for the title of a tattoo artist.
Yeah, because I feel like definitely like the word around that, like, oh, you want to be a businessman, do you want to own your own business, is like thrown around a lot these days, but necessarily people don't know what exactly it takes to like actually hold that position.
For sure, they don't, and it's funny when when you see people like start certain things up, and it's not what they thought it would be. It's a little bit more work. Or they think it's just gonna be easy, like, oh, if I post this type of video, I'm gonna 1 million views and I'll be straight. It's not like
Dude,
that.
with TikTok, with Instagram Reels, like it's such a competitive world that it's like you never even know if it's gonna hit. You just got to be consistent at it. Like, even like you said, like on the video editing, video creating, all of that behind the scenes part is really like time consuming.
No, for sure, it is. It is. I wish. Like earlier, I was telling you, like, I wish I could just focus on tattooing, and I wish I just had a team come in and do all the reels, YouTube video, Instagram, all that, and leave, and I just wrap up the tattoo and leave. But nah, when you're doing all of it by yourself, it's a little bit more taxing. It's a little bit more tedious. But it's like I said, it's cool. It's cool. I do try to appreciate the fact that. Since this is my job, this is my career, this is my work. It's like that's what I have to do. Like social media, it's not that it's not that bad. It's not terrible, but it comes with its pros and its cons.
Have you ever thought about doing like content like on like how you dress? Like, do you coordinate how you dress? Because like even the fit that you're wearing today is pretty hard.
I do appreciate that. Honestly. I'm not like a big fashion dude. Like I'm not big on when it comes to fashion. Like I wear what I like to wear, and that's what it is. Like I don't know. I don't like focus on it. So I definitely wouldn't do any content when it comes to my own fashion or what I choose to wear, because especially with my occupation, every day, like my day-to-day style is comfortable. Every day I'm wearing comfortable. I'm wearing either shorts if it's warm enough, sweats, a sweater, a hoodie, a t-shirt, a white beater. I'm chilling. And that's how I am 9 times out of 10. But like the other day you saw me, if we go out, I'll throw some clothes on. Like I'm not like a type of dude, like if I'm going to the grocery store, if I'm stepping out, I gotta look this way. You feel me? I gotta have that shit on. But so I don't think I consider myself a content creator when it comes to fashion. Although I do love looking at it and learning from people who do things like that, I will never be one of those. Nah. Nah, I wouldn't do that.
Well, I definitely appreciate having you on the podcast, Quan. And what message would you have given? Like, this is how I like to end the podcast, right?
For sure.
What message would you have given to your younger self? Like a message with something you were struggling with, like mentally, physically. What would a good message to a younger self been for you?
Honestly, I was going through a lot of internal conflict, back and forth with myself, debating whether I should chase my career in my creative field or stay in school and just do a job within that because it was safe. And I was going through that for a long time before I actually put my head down and started working on tattoos. So I would say to my younger self, bro, go with your gut, go with your spirit, do what you want to do. Don't worry about outside sources. Don't worry about what family is saying. Don't worry about what friends are saying. Don't worry about what anybody else is saying. Trust yourself. Do what you want to do. Do what's gonna make you happy. Don't do anything because it's the safe route. Don't do anything because you've seen everybody else do it and it's easy. So that's what I would tell myself, especially after you tell somebody your plans, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, and you don't get the feedback that you want, or you don't get the feedback that you expected, and then you start second guessing yourself. Don't second guess yourself. You can tell people what you want to do, no matter how they respond, how they react. Remember your feeling. Remember remember what you want to do. Don't put too much attention on what everybody else is saying. So just focus on the goal and do what you got to do to get there.
No, and I definitely appreciate that, because then like, it's like what would be more fulfilling? I don't know what type of back and forth you had, but it's kind of like what's gonna feel the best for me in the long run. And
Exactly.
do you think you made the good choice?
Of course. My career is doing what it's supposed to do. I'm very happy with my lifestyle. I'm very happy with my occupation, my life, what I have going on. It's exactly what I expected and more. So yeah.
Again, bro, I thank you again for inviting me into your space. And guys, if you guys stayed this long, thank you again. Make sure you guys hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Quan, any last words before we head out?
Honestly, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate the conversation we had. You made me look at what I have going on a little bit more. And but yeah, I appreciate you, y'all. On Instagram, Quan Charlotte. I'm sure he gonna have everything up there. Y'all fuck with me if y'all need tattoos. Charlotte, North Carolina. I have a shop coming real soon in Uptown Charlotte. So just be on the lookout for that. And other than that, appreciate you. Good luck with your podcast. Love.
Well, thank you. Guys.